All right, today we're jumping into a challenge that I think we can all agree is a real headache, even for the most talented teams: communication breakdown. We're going to explore how to actually architect collaboration and turn communication from, just a soft skill into your organization's real superpower.
Have you ever had that feeling? You know the one. You've got brilliant people, you've got important projects, but for some reason, things just aren't clicking. It feels disjointed, like the left hand has no idea what the right hand is doing. Well, that's not just a vibe. It's a real symptom of a much deeper and way more damaging problem.
Okay, so first things first, let's diagnose the issue. Because you can't fix what you don't understand, right? We need to get to the bottom of how this fragmentation really starts to take hold in an organization.
And that problem has a name: organizational fragmentation. Think of it as this: a silent threat. It doesn't show up with a big bang. Nah, it just kind of creeps in slowly, creating these tiny, invisible cracks that separate teams and departments until suddenly your whole organization is weaker than the sum of its amazing parts.
And believe me, the symptoms, they're not subtle, and they are expensive. You see it when a company's messaging is all over the place, or when marketing and sales are basically speaking two different languages. But the real kicker? When things go wrong, everyone starts pointing fingers instead of, actually solving the problem together.
But here's the really good news. Just as poor communication causes this breakdown, taking a strategic approach can rebuild everything and make it stronger than ever. It's all about totally reframing how we see communication. It's not just another task on your to-do list, it's the actual lifeblood of any high-performance team. I mean, really think about that word for a second. Lifeblood. It's not just some nice corporate buzzword. It's the essential, vital thing that carries energy and resources to every single part of the organization, keeping it healthy, alive, and actually thriving. Without it, the whole system just starts to grind to a halt.
So what are we aiming for here? A high-performance culture. And let's be super clear, this doesn't just happen by accident. It's a direct result of intentional action. It's an environment where communication is deliberately designed to pull people together, to share what they know, and to tackle challenges as one solid team.
And that brings us to the most important part: the how. How do leaders actually build this kind of open culture? It's not about wishing for it. It requires a deliberate framework, a real plan of action.
And this framework really boils down to 3 key steps. First, leaders have to get their key messages out there with absolute clarity and consistency. Second, you've got to move away from just talking at people and actually create spaces for real two-way conversation. And third, you have to be super intentional about building bridges and knocking down those silos you're trying to get rid of.
And hey, just to be super clear on that first point, we're not just talking about firing off a company-wide email and calling it a day. That's just broadcasting. What we're aiming for is genuine connection, making sure the message actually lands, that it's understood, and that it means something to the people hearing it.
So how do you actually do that? How do you make it connect? Well, for starters, ask yourself, is this message simple? Is it loaded with corporate jargon nobody understands? And even more importantly, have you thought about what this means to the folks in engineering versus, say, the sales team? When you personalize the why for different groups, that's when a corporate memo turns into a motivating mission.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's like 2 totally different worlds. On one side, you've got fragmentation, with all these one-way orders and people hoarding information like it's a currency. On the other side, you have collaboration, open dialogue, and a real shared understanding. Moving from that left column to the right, that isn't just a small tweak, it's a complete reboot of your company's entire operating system.
Okay, so you do all this intentional work. You make this massive shift. What's the payoff? What's the big reward for getting this right? Let's talk about the results.
Honestly, the transformation is huge. You go from a place of high fragmentation, where so much energy is just wasted on internal politics and cross wires, to a state of strong collective effort. All that wasted energy now gets poured into innovating and moving forward. The impact on both your results and just the overall morale is absolutely massive.
And this is the real grand prize. When people feel connected, when they feel informed, and when they feel trusted enough to speak openly, your whole culture changes. You stop playing the blame game. Instead, problems become shared challenges that everyone, the whole collective, rallies together to solve.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. The whole point of architecting your communication is to merge all these separate parts into a single, cohesive unit, one team driven by one collective effort.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Because this isn't just some abstract theory, right? This is about making a real change. So think about your own team. Right now,
What is the one conversation you can start today to begin strengthening that vital lifeblood?